Howdy, 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 and welcome to another episode of the DirtInfo podcast. As always, we're going to start the show off with our first segment, Stylin and Profilin. So, Carter, what you got on?
I got, in honor of the Wisconsin Sprint Car Speed Week that's going on, supposed to go on. I got a David Gravel shirt on. I don't
Right on.
remember when I got this. It's he had a white car for the Huset's race like a year or two ago.
Oh,
It's
oh
that
yeah,
one. I think it was like 2 years
Billions
ago.
one.
Yeah,
Yep,
it's white and yeah, that one.
yep, yep.
Um, but yeah, I got that on. I just kind of threw it on this morning, so I didn't really pick anything. I was just happy to grab this one. But kind of works out because there's supposed to be a whole lot of sprint car racing in Wisconsin this week. Um,
Oh
I
yeah.
let, but tomorrow's not looking great. We'll say that.
uh, or in the podcast timeline, yesterday wasn't looking great. but, but yeah, I remember that shirt. Actually kick myself all the time for not getting that one. I got the David Gravel crew member style shirt, and I like it and all, but I just wish I'd have gotten that one. It's one of those um ones that stuck with me. Like I wish that was one time I definitely made the wrong choice. So
Yeah, I need a race car on the shirt pretty much for me to for me to buy it. Like
yeah.
the crew ones, some of the crew ones, Bill Baylock has a crew one, a crew shirt, and I saw the front at some race house. I was like, oh, that's a sweet shirt, and I saw the back, and there was no car, and I was like, nope, don't want it anymore.
Yeah, I think that might be the only shirt I think I have without a race car on it, honestly. So I learned from that decision. Let's just say that. But anyway, well, the one that I've got on definitely has a race car on the back, and I picked it up this weekend, so I also remember where I got it. But I had to get me a Cole Falloway shirt at Mississippi Thunder this past weekend. Don't obviously we don't get to see him race much, and we've talked about him a bunch on the show. So I was like, one in Rome. You got to pull the trigger when you have the opportunity. So
You
that's
got it
why I got
signed?
this one.
Got it signed too?
Um, well, that was Cade Dillard's doing, to be honest with you. Um, so I rolled up to get the shirt, and I apparently chose to do that at the time when everyone was there signing autographs, on sort of unwitting to me. So
Oh, gotcha.
I rolled up to the race ranch trailer, and they're rolling five deep with drivers. And I'm just like, oh, well, I could have waited, I guess, but I'm here now. And so I look at the guy who is not a driver, the only one, and I'm like, you're the guy in charge here? And he's like, yeah, I guess. And I was like, I'll take can I get a Cole Falloway shirt in my size, the green one? And Kate Dillard's like, "Do you want him to sign it?" And I was like, "Well, I feel like I'm way too old to ask the question myself, but I guess I don't mind if he wants to." And he's like, "He's right there." And I'm like, "I'm aware that he's right there, but I came for the shirt." So anyway, so they slide it over to him, and he's like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Go for it, bud. Like, whatever." And they're like, "It's his first autograph." And then someone's like, "Ever," and I'm like, "Ever?" But anyway, it was Cole Falloway, Tyler Nicely, and Cade Dillard mostly, and then like Troutman and Sorensen were at the other end of the trailer. But yeah, so then he signed it. So they're like, "Yeah, just sign it right on the front," and sure as shit he did. So I I kind of love it. The story makes it. So if given my choice, maybe on the back next time, but I don't mind. I'm gonna wear the hell out of it either way. I don't care. Um, uh, so it makes for a good story. Yeah,
At
but
least
so
it's
my
somewhat small. What if imagine if we just put like a huge signature right on the front?
I'd have rolled with them when they did it. I told them, I was like, "We'll make a great story on the podcast." So here I am telling it. And then the guy running the trailer, when he put it in the bag, he's like, "Here you go. Don't wear it in Louisiana." And I was like, "Why? Is Cade or one of his family members gonna hunt me down?" So uh, I don't know. I figure if they catch me, I can just say like I have one of the custom signed door panels on the wall. Like I can play both sides. I can like everybody. Anyway, so that's the story behind my Cole Falloway shirt and why it's signed. And it's Cade Dillard's doing. So anyway, so our next segment is always, what did you do? So Carter, I
Yeah.
hinted at what I did, but let's start with you. What did you do this past weekend?
I did not go to Mississippi Thunder. I went, well, I'm supposed to go to Luxembourg. They rained out again. It's starting to piss me off at this point. I can handle
Yeah.
a few weekly shows. I'm like, whatever. I only get really annoyed now when it's like a big show that I've been looking forward to. But now it's, I think, like 2 or 5 out of the 7 have been rained out, and they've
Yeah, I
all
mean
been like legit rainouts. Like it's not like they could have raced. Like there was no shot they were getting it in Friday. Um,
and they've had to wait. I mean, it's not just been an easy call.
it's never been
Yeah.
like it poured all Thursday, Friday morning. There's not gonna happen. It's always rains right at race time, pretty much every
Well,
single time.
this past week too, like I saw on the timeline, like they got a little bit of rain. We're trying to work it in, and then just as the sun's out and shining, just
Yeah,
sky falls out.
they just call the tractor to come help work the track in. Um, I see the tractor roll in or whatever. I go to use the bathroom. I walk out of the bathroom and it's like sprinkling, like a light sprinkle. And you've been to the track, so I was like kind of right where the concession stands are.
Yep.
And there's like a little gap where the rain falls through there, and it was sprinkling. I walk up the stairs into the grandstands, and it's all of a sudden it's pouring. It was
Mm.
like a 10-second walk, and I was like, "What the heck?" It was just sprinkling. Like I thought we were gonna be fine, and now it's pouring. And yeah, the tractor made 2 laps, and they're like, "Don't bother. It probably poured for 10, 15 minutes, and they were screwed. It was already wet, and that was just the end of it." But of course, thankfully, I guess for me, Seymour, which is like 40 minutes west, or Outagamie Speedway, it's called now. They got rain, but the rain that hit Luxembourg, like that didn't make it over there. So they were able to race. So I got in my car, and then, well, as I got in my car, my key broke. So that was great. The key literally snapped right off. So that was a slight delay. I had to go get the spare key from my house. My sister had to bring me there and then bring me back. Then I got in my car and drove straight over to Seymour, and I made it. I missed one heat race. So it
Nice.
worked out perfect. And then I watched there, and there's probably 12 to 15 guys from Luxembourg that also went over there and did the same thing. Already had the car loaded up, so I guess why not?
Yeah.
Um, Benji went over there. He did the same thing. After leaving Mississippi Thunder, had he left, by the way. His the words were not fast enough. That is why he left. So he was honest on why he
He was
left.
honest.
Um, and I'll probably mention later, but it was probably the right decision. But yeah, so made it there. Benji ran fifth, so that was cool. Started 12th, I think. Um, and then on Saturday I went to Plymouth to do the stream there, and I was a bit worried during the heats. The heats were kind of around the bottom, but then the features were fantastic, especially the late model and Grand National feature. In the late models, Nick Anvilink was leading like the whole thing, and on the last lap, Taylor Scheffler threw a slider in turn 1 and 2 and like slid up. Anvilink had to check up a bit, and then third place all of a sudden went underneath both of them, or I thought was going to go underneath both of them, and then somehow Anvilink was able to like kind of dive underneath Scheffler, and they were almost 3 wide. He got the lead back and was able to hang on. But like the last lap was fantastic.
Nice.
And Anvilink wasn't upset about the slide or anything. He was like, I probably should have seen it coming, and he was not mad at it or anything. But then the Grand Nationals, Tyler Wilson, who we've mentioned before, he went there in the stock car, which are slower than the Grand Nationals. Um, and he like worked his way towards like the third using the top side, and then he was kind of stuck there, and then the first and second got behind some lappers, and they were both running the bottom slash the middle, and they got stuck behind some lappers, and Wilson just kind of sent it around the cushion, and then he was catching them, and then all of a sudden with like 2 to go or 3 to go, first and second like tangled, and they were like hooked together for a second, and he drove right by both of them as they were like hooked together. It worked out perfect for him. But yeah, that was probably the first time I've seen a stock car win a Grand National feature. Because every now and then they'll run with the Grand Nationals, but they never win until that end. There was like 30 of them there too, so it wasn't like it was a small field and he won. So Yeah,
Well,
that
I'm
was a
telling you,
really good
man,
race.
I'm pretty sure we're good luck. I don't know. It's not just the green shirt, but I'm pretty sure we're good luck. We've talked about Tyler before, and we've talked about the Grand Nationals before. And you've said you've never seen one win until a listener of our show rolls up in a stock car and wins. I'm telling you, man, we're good luck.
And he said in his interview too, he wants to win at every track. I'm assuming like tracks he can run at, because I don't know how he plans on winning at like a asphalt track with the old stock car. I'd like to
Yeah.
see him try, but I don't know how. I mean, there's some like street stock classes he could try.
Yeah.
But
Well, he's proven that he can do it in the Grand Nationals. So.
but yeah, there's some tracks where I don't know if he'd be legal in some of the classes there, but some slight changes maybe. But yeah, so I thought that was interesting that he wants to try to win at every track. But then Sunday I went to Angel Park, and they
Every
had
track, hold on real quick. In a specific state or just every track?
Wisconsin, but
Okay.
he said Wisconsin, I believe, but I think he means more like our area, like my area, I guess.
Okay.
So like not all the way out in Cedar Lake, I don't think.
Well,
But I think
maybe.
don't like stock cars run with the Wissota street stocks that like some of the fall specials by you, like at Ogilvy or whatever.
Yeah, yeah,
So I
yeah.
mean, he'd probably be able to try it if he wants to do all
I
of
mean, I've
Wisconsin.
seen I've seen Tim Johnson win the Topless Nationals a couple times. That's how he ended up on my
Yeah.
roster.
So he could run with those. There's a few places he could run.
Come on out. I got stickers, my man. Like, we'll get him on the car.
But yeah, then Sunday I went to Angel Park and they had what they have wingless, non-wing sprints, midgets, and 360 sprints, and the racing was really good there. They had a pretty big cushion built up too, which was perfect for those three classes. Although the maybe a little bit too big for the midgets because I think his name is Brian Strain, I believe his name. He took a wild roll in the feature. Like it felt like he wasn't
Oh,
going to stop rolling. Uh,
yeah.
I don't know. Did you? I think you saw the video of it, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Yeah, I saw
was.
the video of it. I thought he was okay, right? Let me
Yes,
verify
he
that he
was
was okay.
okay. He was okay.
Okay. I will just say this, the cameraman did a great job of keeping the bush in the shot as he's stumbling the other way. But yeah, my man went for a ride. I mean, it was end over end for a while. So
Yeah, I saw a picture of the car after the chassis is like all bent up. I don't think that chassis at least will be back on a racetrack. I can't imagine. It was pretty bad. But yeah, he was okay, thankfully. And then the feature too for that race was fantastic. I think Brandon Walty is the name, and then Parker Jones. Them two were throwing sliders at each other for pretty much felt like at least half the race. And then Parker Jones, who he was the one back in April when I was at Lincoln, there was that wild wreck. That was him. He was the one that wrecked there, but he ended up winning, and he's like dominant in Badger midgets, it
good
seems.
luck.
So, um, but yeah, that was fantastic race. Non-wings were pretty good until a caution, and then the 360s. Brandon Berth won. It's for some reason he's like really good there. Like he wins every time he goes there. Like it seems like I think he won both races there last year, and he won this year. Um, but yeah, so it was a good weekend for racing. So I was now if Luxembourg can just get a race in and I don't have to drive as far on a Friday, that'd be great.
That would be good. Yeah. And well, and you're down to one key now. So like we can't
Yeah. And
we,
the unfortunate part with my keys is so I got both of them on here and
oh gosh.
but on the one I have to use, this one, the unlock like button is missing. So I mean I could use the key, but I'm too lazy to do that. So I still have to use this one to actually unlock the car. I just can't start it with the so I gotta have them both on here.
Oh, that's awesome. You have to try to find a way to make a Franken key out of the two of them into one functional the whole way. Well, thankfully, I didn't have any key troubles or car troubles. Pretty uneventful, but still, again, I say it every time. It's probably my favorite drive on the way there. to a track. It's just gorgeous. You just go across, up and down next to the Mississippi River like the whole way from at least where from I'm at. So I just enjoy the drive. Drive home though, a little different. It's dark and windy, and occasionally you get a race car driver behind you. It can be a little stressful. But anyway, this past one was not. But yeah, so I went to Mississippi Thunder for the Modified World Championships. And it was a blast. It was an absolute blast. I wasn't super early. I didn't tailgate or anything. But I actually rolled up after pits were open. I'll have you know. I didn't even get there before pits were open. But so rolled in, got the pit passes obviously, and locked down a spot and turn 4 where I like, but Sherry did get a little dusty. She had one eye open for a little bit of the feature, but
Did you bring
not a
did you bring
complaint.
safety glasses?
No, we really do need to though, and
Yeah,
that's
see,
not a complaint. You're
you
at a
could
dirt track.
sit
I want to be
anywhere.
perfectly clear. You're at a dirt track. The expectation is there's dirt. I'm not complaining in any way. Just sometimes the ball bounces the wrong way, and
Safety
Sherry's
glasses
very
are
susceptible.
certainly a need. So you can sit
Yeah,
anywhere then, and
you really can.
as long
I
as you're
do.
not
We
getting hit
just.
by big chunks, because those might not protect you as much. But dust,
Yeah.
not a problem then.
Yeah, safety goggles, and then I like the bandana too. I mean, if you're gonna do it, just cover. Then you're not breathing it all in, and you're pretty much just completely covered and protected. I don't know.
No, I want that experience. I want the fumes all in my lungs. It's just great, I'm sure.
I'm sure you get it through the bandana. You just cut down on all the dirt. You know, but anyway, no. It was Mississippi Thunder was awesome. Did the pit walk. Ran into Cole Sarneski. Gave him some stickers. I showed him earlier, but we finally got stickers, y'all. So not a ton, but some. I need to get some in the mail for you too. But yeah, so those showed up on a few cars that did pretty well, I might add. But no, so rolled up, went to the merch area first. I do want to show this off because I think this is a really cool like merch idea. So Jake Tim did these like rookie cards, and it's the downtown variant, and I love it. I just think it's something unique and different. This thing cost me $5, and it's hand numbered 1 through 10. The art's pretty cool on it. I mean, it's in a top loader, so it's hard to see with my lights and everything back there, but it's a neat card. It's a cool little thing, and I dig it. So I want to shout out the innovation there too. And then they got like auctioned off an autographed one in like a PSA case and everything. So it's pretty cool. It's a cool idea. I
Could
see,
you
but
could you have just gotten that one signed?
I could have, but I didn't ask because it would have devalued the one they were auctioning off. I knew better than to put. They don't put people in a spot like that. No way. No way.
Maybe
Absolutely
in
not.
like a month down the road. But can you sign this?
Yeah, but definitely not. I was cool with this. I would have liked one of the. They had a couple other ones that were also in the slabs, but not signed. That would have been
Oh yeah.
neat. But I got there on Saturday and they sold out beforehand. So I wasn't the only one who thought it was a cool idea. So anyway, but so did all that, and then like I said, I talked to Cole Sarneski in the pits, picked up some merch from him too, and then also I handed over some stickers, and I saw them on the stock car. Our logo was on a podium finish in the stock cars, by the way. So I'll start with the stock cars, but so B pillar of his stock car, little black sticker up there. I have pictures. I'll have Carter load one up. But yeah, we were on the podium. But that was a cool race. From second on back towards the end. But like Jacob Blees just put it on him. That dude was fast all weekend. He may have led every lap he was on the track. And if it wasn't, it was because he started somewhere in his heat race towards the back. But my guy was fast. So he won, but the action behind him was pretty cool. Cole kind of moved up through the field late, running the bottom, ended up sneaking into the third place. The second place dude, Tyler Skogie, I believe it was, ended fading. And then your guy in the fantasy thing, Derek Green, was running third. and the late caution that really kind of changed everything up. He ended up overheating under caution, so
Oh,
he had to
great.
pull off. So yeah, so but neither of us drafted Blees for what it's worth. uh, but but yeah, so he it was that stock car race was really cool. I do have to admit, I don't think you saw any of the stock car feature, did you?
Nope.
Okay, so I'm just gonna say this: the first 2 laps of the stock car feature, fireworks going off in the infield. For real, absolutely they were. I was so jacked. It was so cool. 30 stock cars just plowing around the big 1/3 mile, and and fireworks shooting off in the middle. That was rad. That made my whole night. I'm not gonna lie.
Were you hoping they went longer? Or were you happy with 2 laps?
I thought 2 was perfect. We had said on the podcast a couple weeks ago that I was saying 5 was good, but having seen 2, I agree 2 was perfect. 2 was perfect. They didn't do it for the mods. The mod display was way like bigger before the feature. I don't think he could have pulled that off. There was too much smoke. I was picking up ideas. I was jotting notes as they were doing this. So if you're gonna do it while they're racing, it's got to be a little bit slower timed, where it's kind of like 1 or 2, and then anyway, I'm
They
getting
they should
way
have they should have just had some during the halfway break for the mod feature. Just
agreed.
lighting them off the whole time.
Agreed. Agreed. Yeah. I mean, it would have made it a little more interesting. It'd have been harder to hear
That's
all
fine.
of the
That's
interviews.
fine.
Although, so speaking of stickers, at the halftime break, if you will, our logo was again. We were on national television. Our logo, you have to a little bit be looking for it, but yeah, on the A post of Jake Tim's car when they interviewed him at the halfway break while he was leading. Our logo was right there on screen. So I don't know, man. That was pretty neat experience. But speaking of the modifieds, the first half was awesome. It was
That was my
awesome.
takeaway as well. When I was
Yeah.
allegedly watching it while driving home from Plymouth. That was my takeaway.
While you were listening in. Got
Yes, yes.
it. No, the first half was awesome. Like I remember just kind of sitting there thinking as we got about 5 laps in, just how rad it was. Like Tanner Mullins and Drake Troutman were just toe to toe, lap after lap for a few, and then Tanner pulled away, and then Jake Tim came flying from somewhere, I don't know, fourth, fifth, sixth, just railing the top, just giving his right rear an absolute workout to get to the lead. And he took the lead, and then I think nicely was slid up. Just these guys from all these different sanctions just kind of just battling out. It was just really cool to watch. I mean, it really was. Honestly, like, not to get too far afield, but it was for me like watching the lower features and stuff, watching my Wasota guys just go and go and go. Like Zach Benson went like three soup. He had a 3 soup run. Eric Lamb, I think, did so too. It was just cool. Charlie Mefford, I think he ran all the way to the B, and then he just kind of ran out of gas, or as he said, got full. But no, so it was cool. Like at the premise of the whole event is just really awesome watching these different sanctions kind of battle it out. Like I was pulling so hard for Zach I honestly feel like if he hadn't lost the tire in the C or whatever it was, he might have transferred. Anyway, back to the main feature. But the first half was awesome. It was just awesome. And then on the restart, unfortunately, Jake went in a little hot and nailed the wall and knocked something out of it. And Drake slid to the lead, and I don't think he was ever really seriously challenged almost the whole rest of the way.
No, when I was listening in, it seemed like Chisholm would kind of get near him, but like there was never a point where I was like, oh, this is where he's gonna get by. In my opinion, I didn't think that was gonna happen at all.
Yeah, I mean there was good racing throughout the field. Again, not to make it all about Cole Sarneski, but he also again in the second half just kind of rode the bottom and drove up to like 12th or something. And at one point he was a lap down. I think Sorensen went pretty far up towards the end. He almost slid into the top 5 at
Yeah,
one
he
point.
was up there on the top towards the end, just kind of
Yep.
hammering the top, picking off a couple of them towards the end.
Yeah, it was cool at sort of the midpoint of the race. I thought Ryan Gustin might make something happen on the top. He was moving forward and then ran out of a little bit of gas. Rodney was really cool to watch on the restarts. I told Sherry a couple times that I thought he might win the whole thing on the
Didn't
restarts.
didn't he have to go to the back too, like right at the start or
Yeah,
something? Because I turned it on
yeah.
when I turned it on, I didn't see that part. But then they were like, I heard him mentioning that he had to go to the back, but I didn't see what happened. So
Yeah, early in the race, I don't know if he was a cause of a caution or got caught up in something and had something checked. I don't I know that it happened. I don't remember exactly why it happened. But yeah,
sure.
he did have to go to the back. It wasn't anything serious, but he came back and tagged then the back end of the field and towards one of the last restarts, I told Sherry, I was like, I think he might win this thing because on the restarts he could just get under everybody. And he was just he was like having to swerve around the tires how low he was. So like, that was cool. The rest of the field watching those guys duke it out. In Victory Lane, Troutman said he thought that UMP had like a little bit of a leg up on USRA, or to use his words, I believe he said them guys were at a disadvantage with the tires and a couple other things really. And made I don't pretend to be technical, so I don't know what all of it is, but that was interesting, especially when you look at the features. It went UMP, USRA, UMP, USRA,
I
UMP,
thought,
USRA.
oh, how many features were there? I thought UMP won like 3 out of 4 prelims, and then
They did, but the main feature first was Troutman,
yep.
second was Chisholm, third was Nicely.
Oh, you're talking about the running
Four,
order. Okay, I see what you
yeah,
meant. Yep,
in
I
the
thought you
main
meant the. Okay,
feature.
gotcha,
Yeah,
gotcha.
sorry. Yeah. So when it was all said and done, it all shook out. Yeah, I mean, it was interesting to see that that's how it went. I mean, the UMP guys were definitely fast, and I honestly thought 80 laps might be a tire issue for them, but it did not seem to be. Again, I'll be real honest. I didn't pay attention if they switched tires at halftime. So if they did, maybe then the halftime break really needs to. I'm not trying to put anyone at a disadvantage, but if the idea is that the American racers are supposed to be a long endurance advantage, if they're not proving to be in there slower at all other points, then we've got to think about something. So,
Did you?
but
Oh, I was gonna say, do you like the halfway break, or would you rather they just don't stop if they don't have to?
I'd prefer they don't if they don't have to, but I get that fuel is a consideration. I
Yeah,
mean, I think it's probably more that than anything.
I don't know how many they can go. Like, say if they could only go 60 on fuel, would you rather they do just 60 with no break, or do 80 but have a break? Because I'd rather just no break at all.
I think I'd rather no break at all.
Yeah, I just seems like, I mean, there was going to be a caution either way, for the halftime break because Mullins broke or something, but it
Yeah.
just felt like the race on the second half just like it was so good for the first 35 or whatever, and then the second half was just not. It wasn't bad, but like it wasn't as much that happened. I don't know. It might not have nothing to do with the halfway break, but it just seemed like
Yeah.
that happens
Well, I
many
mean,
times.
honestly, coming to the halftime break, which was a legitimate caution on Mullins, his tire delaminated. So like, but coming to the flag stand when they ended up calling it, Nicely was making a move on Jake Tim.
Yeah,
So like we were fixing to have more good racing. I get it was caution either way, but like it makes you wonder if they just keep going for another 25 laps at that point. I think it was, or
they
I don't
called
know,
it on lap
15 or
35 is when they called the
35.
caution. So
Yeah.
whatever
So
the
say
math is
say
on
it's
that.
60, right? And that we could be completely out of left field and wrong on that number that they can get on gas. But just say it's 60. But if you just restart and you have, 25 more to go, that's probably a really good race.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. So just I guess our 2 cents. I loved it. I think I was gonna say, we've had a 50 and 2 other 100s in addition to this, and USRA has won all of those. And we've seen different styles at almost all of them. Like the last one was definitely a tire wear game. Um, and so uh, I, I I don't know. I almost do to your suggestion. I do almost feel like we just need to see them all go without a halftime.
yeah, just
Yeah.
run them all the way through if you can.
Yeah. 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 That might take my Wissota folks out of it. I remember Kennedy Swan having issues with gas.
Yeah, I think they were the
Uh,
ones that
uh,
were the
hit.
biggest issues when it comes to gas. I feel like it was their sanction. So the next one, which is a lot of Wasota drivers, that might be. I don't even know how many laps they're running for that, but that might be they might have to have a
Yeah,
break in there.
yeah, they might have to have two. It's a bigger track. It's 3/8 mile.
Yeah,
So yeah, I guess I don't know how many laps it is. I would
because
assume 100. His other one was 100. The big deal was 100. I feel like it's 100.
the race at Superior that we were both at last year, I forgot what it's called, Border Battle, I think. Was that 50
Yep.
laps?
I
Wasn't
don't
that?
recall.
Yeah, I just know that one they went all the
I feel like
way.
that was 40. I feel
Was
like
it
that was
40?
40.
Okay, I knew they went all the
Yeah.
way. Like they didn't have any breaks in that one, so I wasn't
Yeah.
sure.
But that's not quite a half mile, but close.
Yeah, so I think
Like
it's
4/10 or
pretty big.
something.
Yeah. So
Yeah. 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 So I don't know. We're talking out of our left foot a little bit, but all interesting considerations. But yeah, I enjoyed the hell out of the show. Again, Mississippi Thunder delivered. It it was for the most part great racing all throughout the night. The last part of the feature. Part of that is just Drake Troutman being that good, though.
yeah,
When it would get close, he would put moves on guys and make get separation again, put lappers between. He just was that good. And so credit to him too. He kicked ass. But anyway, I suppose most of these guys, most of these mod guys are, they're all kind of leaving from here and going somewhere. It feels like a lot of the USMTS guys are going to probably down to Boot Hill. Well, all of the actual USMTS guys are going to Boot Hill, but some of the other USRA guys might also end up there. Um, and then I think we got the Northern Lights going 3 days as well. So I think a lot of the more local guys to Mississippi Thunder will probably, some of them will run that. I expect Brandon Davis will be at least one or two, and Lucas Schott and stuff. But anyway, they're running Saturday, Sunday, Hamilton County, and then Mason City on Sunday, and then the Ironman stock cars. So a lot of those stock car guys are gonna end up in the same spot. They're running Friday at Rapid Speedway, and then also joining up with Northern Lights at Hamilton and Mason City. So, that's where a lot of those guys we just watched and talked about will be. But yeah, other than that, so what are you doing? What are you doing this upcoming weekend?
do we want to just real quick mention Mars because we talked about it last
Oh,
week.
yeah,
They
my
did.
bad.
Yeah, you're
Good
good.
catch.
They did they had the what was it called? Twin
The
Twisted.
twisted 25s.
Yeah. And Friday, I saw the second feature seemed like a decent finish, but I thought the funniest part was that Turbo and Pierce both won the Friday features. And
Yeah.
then in Victory Lane, there was a picture where Pierce was like pointing at like they were like looked like they were chill now. Like they don't dislike each other anymore. They were like a thumbs up. Pierce giving like a thumbs up to Turbo. Turbo was like looking back at him smiling. I thought that was a cool picture. Um, and then Saturday, Pierce went on to win. I think Turbo was like kind of close towards the end. And then he jumped the cushion with like one or two to go, and then Turbo fell to like fourth because of that. But I don't think Turbo was still close enough to like really do anything, unless he like fenced Pierce, which then they wouldn't be friends anymore after that on
We'd
Saturday.
had a
But
recreation of the last time they were like that.
but yeah, so Pierce won pretty much two of the three features. So
Yeah. Yeah. That format was definitely interesting. I watched a little bit of it back. It looked like Pierce kind of dominated the first one, and then Turbo I think started on the pole of the first row and sort of drove away for a while, and then Unziger made it interesting close.
yeah,
But
there it was like point 0.1 something was the gap. Unziger like had was close. Like Turbo was on the top and Unziger was on the bottom, and Unziger was pretty close, but Turbo ended up getting
yeah,
by or holding on to it.
yeah. And I think Pierce, who based on that format, started 10th, went up to I think we saw 6th or something. So,
Yeah, he passed like 4 or 5 cars, something like that.
yeah.
So
So would have been cool to see him win both. But I mean, I think that's why they set it up that way. But it's hard when you got that many good cars.
yeah,
There's
and
not.
in late models, not that there's not passing in late models, but there's so many good drivers and they're just harder to pass with. I feel like you're not seeing a
Yeah,
guy come from 12th all the time like you do in like stock cars and whatnot. So but now
yeah,
that format with like stock cars or something could be pretty sweet though.
yeah. I agree with you. Something to yeah. No, I do think I think it could work with. I mean, it did sort of work with late models too, but I hear you. Stock cars, modifieds potentially, but like yeah, stock cars, hobby stocks. Anyway, but yeah. Um, now are we clear for or no, we got one more. So speaking of late models real quick, SLMR, we have it all planned out and then sometimes we just get a little squirrely, but did want to mention SLMR ran twice this past weekend as well. CJ Speedway on Friday and Nick Marolf, I believe. I'm probably butchering that. Marolf, I
I
believe.
I don't know how it's
Anyway,
pronounced either. So
sorry, Mark. Or sorry, Nick. Jesus Christ, Josh. Nick Marolf. And then Lee County Speedway, Dallin Murdy won, and then a guy I'm sure you're really excited to see at the Dream, Dylan Thornton took second. So, um,
yep, I did see
yeah,
he's down or Dylan Thornton's helping getting the car ready. I think as we speak. So
yeah. So tying back to a story we had talked about previously as well. But anyway, now we are definitely clear. That is all of our notes on our recap. Um, so what do you're racing this upcoming weekend. So tell me where you're
yep,
going.
I got 4 scheduled races. As I mentioned earlier, I think I mentioned it last week too. I go to 141 tomorrow, but for the listeners, this comes out on
Yesterday.
Wednesday, so it would have been yesterday. Um, but the weather's not looking great. It is looking pretty much like widespread spread rain throughout like the whole area, from like 2 o'clock to like 11 or something. I don't know. Um, I'm hoping they just run it Thursday because that would work perfect for me. But it's probably not that easy to just move it to Thursday, but hopefully that's what ends up happening. I did see one Facebook comment, so you can't really trust it, but there's one Facebook comment, and the rumor that was going around at Angel Park on Sunday was that that's what's going to happen if it rains out. So I pray that random Facebook person is right. Um, but then after 141 on Friday, I go to Plymouth. They have the World of Outlaw sprint cars, so I'll be there Friday. I got a pit pass for that one because it was only like $5 more to get a pit pass with a reserve seat. So I was like, why not?
When I do that,
And then
I love that.
Saturday I go to Wasota Country. I go to ABC Raceway on Saturday for the high
Ooh.
roller sprint cars. No association with the high limit sprint cars. Um, I- although you could get a pretty good like social media post out of it saying I thought Kyle Larson was coming here or something. But yeah, I go there. I haven't been there since 2017, so I'm looking forward to getting back there. I like have like no memory of when I even went there, so it'll feel like a whole new track pretty much for me. Um,
Yeah.
and then Sunday, Luxembourg runs. They have the Prelude to the Clash, which is Clash of the Creek is at 141 next week on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Luxembourg runs Sunday, and they have like I think it's 1500 to win for mods. Just pretty much hoping to get a few guys to come out for that from like Iowa, maybe a day early or whatnot. But hopefully it's early still, so it can change. But it shows rain on Sunday. Friday looks perfectly
Oh,
fine, but of course Sunday it shows rain. So
of course.
they can never win. Yeah. But last
Can't
year
catch a break.
they had an awesome car count for that last year. And honestly the mods were the lowest one. I think they had like 36 something mods last year, but the sport mods and stock cars there was a ton of them last year. More than they anticipated because they actually moved the start time up this year. They started at 7 last year. They started at 6 this year, just so they don't
Oh,
run into that
yeah.
issue.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, and then I guess because it's in a weird spot. But yeah, the Clash is on Tuesday, Wednesday. So Tuesday will be before the episode's out, but Wednesday.
Yep.
So we'll talk more about it next week. But yeah, that's what I got going
Yeah.
on this week.
Yeah, right on, right on. So the Clash, just catch me up on it real quick because it does sit in a weird spot. So the Clash at the Creek is at 141, right? What is so? Give me the rundown. Who's running? What's the prizes up top?
It's so when the schedule came out, it supposed it it seemed like they were gonna do two 10,000 to wins, 10,000 Tuesday, 10,000 Wednesday, like they did last year.
Okay.
Then they posted the format like last week, and I guess that's not what they're doing. They're doing um I think we mentioned it. I think it was a one for the
A little
road. The
bit,
stock
yeah.
cars they're doing like two qualifying features. Like that's what the stock cars are doing. And they're doing the same thing with the mods. So they're going to run heats, B mains, and then two qualifying features on Tuesday. And then
Okay.
Wednesday will be like Bs and the main feature. And then they also have stock cars and sport mods. They run a full show both days for 1,000 to win. Um,
Okay.
and it's usually a few out of state people will come up just for that. Which I always thought was weird because they have like a stock car special, so you'd think they'd come up for that versus in June for the mod special, but
Yeah.
I'm not complaining. So,
Right
um,
on.
but yeah, so they
So,
probably will get like 60-ish mods if I had to guess. Hopefully more, but usually
yeah.
it's the lowest it usually is. It's like 60, but some years it goes up, some years it goes down. So
All right. Well, we'll hear more about it, but I'm glad that we got a chance to talk about it now because
at
that
least
is, I think,
it's on partially part of it's on Wednesday and not Monday,
yeah.
Tuesday, because those are the worst for
Yeah.
us.
Yeah. But right on. Well, I can't wait to talk more about it. Um, so I'm actually not going racing. I'm going to a baseball tournament. It's in Duluth. Uh, yeah, I probably might rent a hotel room Saturday night. Might not. I'm still up in the air. So,
How
um,
far is it from you?
it's 2 hours.
Oh, you can drive home.
Yeah, it's an easy drive.
Duluth,
It's just
is that by like Superior? Is that up
yeah,
there?
it's like by Gondik. Yeah,
Oh, you could get a hotel
yeah.
and
It's
go
just
to Proctor on Sunday.
I have done that for this tournament before, by the way. I have done that for this tournament. We actually went to Gondik on Friday and then went to Proctor on Sunday and then went home. It was actually how I did it a couple years back. Um, but no, for this one, so like the boys are with me a fair bit of time, but they do see mom on on every other weekend. So kiddos with mom. So I'm like, it's a little bit of free time for me. So like he plays super late on Friday. Like he has like an 8 o'clock game on Friday
The night
for this
game.
tournament.
He's in
And I can
prime
he's
time
in
slot.
absolute prime time. So the thing is I can just watch him on my phone under the lights. And so since he'll be with mom, I might take Friday not running up there and then just make it a 1 day trip. I'll definitely be there Saturday though. And Duluth is awesome. um, I enjoy the scenery and being right off Lake Superior and everything. So anyway, uh, that's my plan. I don't think I'm going racing. I'm probably most definitely taking the weekend off. Um, but it's not the worst weekend to take off because the dream is this weekend.
That is true.
So yeah, so that's kind of the big headliner I think of this upcoming what to watch sort of thing. Um, and we also we get another iteration of the Flow Racing Night in America the night before too, right?
Yep, on Wednesday.
So yeah, yeah. I like the Dream. I'm a real big fan of the Dream because we get new wraps. That's honestly one of my
Oh, yep.
favorite parts. Yeah.
Yeah, I
So
like those. There's like the Dream, the World, the Dome are like the main three where you always
yeah,
get a bunch of new wraps. I'm a big fan of that.
yeah. So as we're recording, I haven't seen a ton of new ones. I did see, I think Hunt the Fronts went with a like white and American flag, and then um obviously I'm super partial to Bobby Pierce's
I like that
the
one too.
white, the baby blue and the pink. Like that's that's our colors, you know. Like so obviously I like that. But it's a good looking car either way, regardless. It just looks good. I like how I don't know. I presuming it's a wrap, but I like how it looks hand painted. And if
Yeah,
it is hand painted, that's even cooler. But I
because it's
presume
a
it's probably a wrap.
throwback to his dad, correct?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I like even the spoiler says something like chasing a dream riding on a star because I think when his dad ran it, it was like a star car or something like that. That was the brand of car it was. So,
Oh, gotcha.
yeah, I even like that. So it's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool throwback. But yeah, we'll see more as the week comes along. Um, I figure we made we oh, we missed it when we were talking about the world championship. So we'll just throw it in here randomly now. But we did that fantasy thing. You ended up winning because I let you win. By the way, I let you win. You picked Benji, and I
We
let you have your alternate instead.
You should have gave
So
you should have gave me points for Benji's results on Saturday at 141 instead.
It would have never been close then. It was it was at least close this way. We'll throw it up now since we forgot to talk about it before. But I think you only beat me like 2 or 4 points. I'm not looking at it now, but it was close, and we tied in the stock cars. And that's part of the reason I was nice is because Tim, like I had an alternate and a guy not show up, so I would have been SOL. We caught it, and you let me throw another guy in, so I think it was only fair. But anyway, let's do not quite the same thing for the dream, but how about we'll just try to pick a winner. Actually, flow is hard because we don't know all who's running.
Yeah, we don't know exactly who's going to show up.
But let's just throw a dart and try to do flow and then Thursday, Friday, and the big feature. So just pick a winner each night. That sound like something you'd be interested in?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right.
Who wants to go first?
I always let you go first, so I'll let you pick flow.
Okay.
Who do you think?
I feel like it's hard to pick against Pierce, so I'll pick Pierce. I wanted, I was like I don't want to pick Pierce, but I was like it's hard to pick against him at this point.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Jonathan Davenport.
Oh yeah,
I'm not sure if I'll get a chance to pick him on another occasion. So that'll be our picks for that night, and then we'll just keep inverting the order. So I'll go again for Thursday. So for Thursday's roster, I mean, it's a good thing you took Bobby Pierce because I'll take him for Thursday. I mean, I feel like we're gonna pick him a few times, but, but yeah.
I'll go with Hudson O'Neal for Thursday.
Okay. All right. I thought you might go. If you took Bobby, I was going Nick Hoffman. That was going to be my
Nick Hoffman. I honestly missed him. I wasn't going to pick him anyways. I was considering Dale McDowell, but it's not like 100 laps. If it was longer, I feel like he's better.
Yeah. He's the sneaky one for down the road here.
Yeah.
For sure he is. And then you can go ahead and take first pick on Friday too.
Unfortunately, I think we're going to be picking the same guys a lot. I'm going to take Jonathan Davenport on Friday.
And so that leaves me with Ricky Thornton Jr. I will take RTJ. And then who do you think? I guess I get first crack at who's going to win the whole thing, and
You wanna not pick Pierce or Davenport to make it just interesting?
Yeah.
All right.
Do we want to say no one we've picked before?
Yeah,
but I think
I'm
that might
fine. I'm fine with that.
Okay.
Make it
okay.
interesting.
So somebody we haven't picked yet. I like that. Ooh, so it's me that goes first, though?
Yep.
Oh, well, then I'm going to do the guy I mentioned before. I'm going to go Nick Hoffman. I just watched a whole bunch of Elite Chassis.
I feel like
race really well.
I feel like I should pick McDowell now that we talked about him, but I don't even want to pick him because we mentioned him. I'll do.
Well, you did see him win for the first time in your life this year. I feel like it's destiny. That's the whole theme of the dream.
If we want to talk about what if I'm gonna go Moran. Moran's gonna win at Eldora.
All right, fair enough. I like that pick. That would have been another one, but yeah, I had already mentioned Nick Hoffman. So if I was confidently going to take him on Thursday, and we ruled out all the other guys we had already picked,
I'll say McDowell will be in the top 5 though. I think.
Oh, for sure. I shouldn't say for sure, but I share that opinion.
I just feel like every time,
for sure, but
every like 100 lap where it's like at some point McDowell's like, oh, here comes McDowell.
Yeah,
just right through the middle.
He's a sneaky play on Dirt Draft for that very reason, because he's like almost always there at the end. Almost always there at the end. So, yeah. But it should be fun. I think even with baseball, I may have to listen in at some point, but I'm definitely gonna catch Saturday's feature for sure. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to that. This is one of the reasons I like these Eldora shows so much is because of Dirt Draft. Because Dirt Draft is just so hard on these big shows with all these cars. and they have all the big gambling contests. So I always like to, throw down the bankroll and try to roll out with a couple flow subscriptions or something. I'm actually, and you have like all the locked in drivers.
Oh yeah,
Usually, yeah. So you're like you can like study it. I'm being a nerd, but but it is what I do like these bigger shows because of that aspect too. I get to nerd out a little bit harder. Um, I did that with the Modified World Championships, and I finished like 596. So I mean, take the good with the bad. If you have a strategy, sometimes it goes the wrong direction. But anyway, um. That, I believe, though, is everything we wanted to talk about, which means, Carter, it's time for.
the one for the road, and mine it's kind of because yours last week was the Wasota Challenge Series, I believe.
Yeah, yeah.
Mine's kind of gonna be it's kind of gonna be part of what yours was.
Related to it, yeah.
Yeah, but I saw let me pull it up. There it is. Uh, so Cole Searing, who I believe was the points leader, I could be wrong. He won Thursday.
Uh,
He won Thursday
yeah.
night,
After
and
winning
then
Thursday, he was the points leader, yeah.
yeah, and then he raced Friday night, and then what was it? His appendix or something, right?
Appendicitis,
Is it-
he had surgery, so I assume he got his appendix removed
Yeah.
as well.
So he was gonna end up missing Saturday and Sunday, and all the drivers voted, or Chris Steppen, who's like the series director, I believe, asked the drivers like, do we want to give him the hardship points, I think is what they're called, or like no points for
Yep.
missing? And all, I think there's 10 full-time guys. Every single one of them agreed to give him the points, like show up points and whatnot, which I thought
Yep.
was really cool because they could have all just been like, nope, we want to move up a spot in the rankings. And they all
Yeah.
agreed, like, no, we want him to keep his points. Um, which I thought, yeah, I just thought that was really cool. Good sportsmanship by everybody too. Um, and then I also kind of want to just throw
Agreed.
can I throw a second one in there? Because I think I mentioned a
Yeah.
little bit. Benji he ran 141 Saturday, and he was the first person to ever win a modified and stock car feature at 141 on the same night. So I thought that was it was history.
Really.
Yeah, guys have won in two features in a night. I think Benji won mod and sport mod once during the fall special because you can't run mod guys can't run sport mods with IMCA, but in the fall special they're not sanctioned, so he'll sometimes run one. I think he's done that, but no one's ever won a mod and a stock car feature on the same night at 141. So I thought that was kind of cool. And he came
Right
from
on.
like 13th and I think 10th, so had to work for him.
Yeah, he did. Dang. Well, good for Benji. Um, I was looking up something because that the Cole Searing thing is definitely a bummer. I was watching. So I think I believe it's his wife. His wife Ashley runs the live stream during the races, and on Friday or on Thursday and Friday, I caught a little bit of it, and my favorite announcer. She's my favorite announcer. Now, well, at least for that. But yeah, she was an interesting listen. And she was even mentioning that he wasn't feeling well during the feature
Friday.
on Friday. Yeah, so it was definitely a bummer. But the hardship thing, as you mentioned, was pretty cool. But I thought it was I thought it was interesting that I kind of knew before. I think
Most
it
people
like
knew.
more, yeah, just because she was, and it was crazy. He won. He was feeling not great the night before and won, and I think he brought it home like 10th, on Friday too. So like he was battling despite being under the weather. So, speedy recovery hopefully. But so my one for the road is a little bit um it feels like it should be one of yours, to be completely honest. It feels like it should be yours. But anyway, we missed it last week, and I'm sure that's becoming a theme. We're missing big like hobby stock and stock car shows, and that's okay. We catch them at some point. But we missed that this was happening last week. But Dustin Hennigan won 30,000 in a hobby stock
Is it a
at
hobby
Boot
stock or a
Hill
factory stock?
Factory. You might be right.
I know they
Factory
run them
stock,
there all the time because they get a ton of them.
you're right, actually. I believe it was a factory stock, but I don't have it written down, and I'm llooking right at the post, and it doesn't say. But
I'm
for
sure
some
it's a factory stock. They have They get like 30 of them for weekly shows down there.
Factory stock. I had it pulled up somewhere else. Correct, factory stock. So I'm sorry for misspeaking. He won 30,000 in a USRA factory stock at Boot Hill, and they had 137 cars there. So is for the factory stocks, the 137 total factory stocks. So he took home the win, and I wouldn't be shocked to see him running USMTS this weekend in a modified. I wouldn't be shocked at all to see it. So, but that's pretty wild. 30 grand. So, well done, Dustin. But it feels like I said, it feels like a Carter one. But all the same, we'll catch more of them.
That's the main reason I want to go to Boot Hill is because all the factory stocks they get down there.
Yeah.
That track intrigues me, and it's because of that. So I can't believe I missed it.
Yeah. Shame on us. But that goes back to our point. Like the bigger the dollar amount, the more we're likely to talk about it. But I mean, I had a gentleman reach out to me about the Bang Bang 50 at 141. It's coming. It's not quite coming up yet, but I mean, I'll just mention now. It's a racer put on. What do you call them?
Sport compacts would be the name.
Sport compacts. I wanted to say Hornets, but that's by me. But yeah, it's a driver run sport compact race. At 141. You don't know the dates off the top of your head, do you?
Not off the top of my head, no.
Okay. No worries. We'll mention him when it gets closer, but
yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
the driver, I think, pretty much like helps get all the like payout for that. Like he just like pretty much asking sponsors and whatnot to get payout for it, and then all the way throughout the field, which is a cool thing to do. And then give the sport compact guys a special too, because the mods and stuff all get one obviously at 141. So
yeah, get them something. So I'll dig in and mention it again here coming up soon. But I want to drive home. We love to hear about things that are going on. I think I know a big reason I do this is just to brag up dirt racing. I think it's cool as hell, and I like to share it. So if there's cool stories out there, cool races and stuff that don't get all the pub you think they should, let us know. We'll shout them out. We'll do our best. I mean, that's what we're here for, right? Is to call it all the cool stuff that happens. So,
July 26th is the date on the Bang Bang 50 at 141, by the way. So a couple months out still.
Yeah, maybe we'll mention it a couple more times. Maybe we'll mention it at the top of the show one of these times, or more up on the show instead of as we're about to say goodbye. But anyway, driving home the point. If there's stuff out there you would like us to mention, please let us know, because we absolutely will do our best to do that. So anyway, with that, if you're still here, drop a like. I don't have any witty saying for this week's episode, but we appreciate you immensely, and we'll catch you next week.
See ya.